Calificas para ser legal. ¿Quieres saber? Solo llama al abogado Andres Mejer.
Now, what happens if you're in removal proceedings and you're charged with a DUI? Now, if you're in removal, that means you've already been contacted by ICE and you were either bonded out, which means you paid money as security that you will appear in court, or you were released without a bond. So let's say you filed for asylum, you were denied, and you were automatically referred. Or you applied for a green card, denied, and you're now charged with a crime, and you're placed in removal proceedings. So if you're in removal, you likely have filed or will file for asylum or cancellation of removal, and your case is proceeding before an immigration judge. Now, you can be picked up by ICE at your court date, and your court date can be moved up dramatically. So again, you're not detained, you're in the non-detained docket, which typically means you'll see a judge between 10 or 12 months. If you're detained, most immigration cases have 4 or 5 court appearances. If you're detained, that's 4 or 5 months, about once a month. If you're not detained, it's about once a year. 4 months versus 4 years, very big difference. So you could have a court date for next year, and all of a sudden, you're in court in a couple of weeks. So if you were convicted of DUI, you likely aren't going to be released. If you're charged, and the DUI is reduced or dismissed, and you don't have any other criminal history, you likely will be released, but the bond will be high. If you're charged for DUI and your charge is still pending, it really depends on what immigration judge you get, but the fee will be high. The bond will be high. You're looking at probably $20,000 or more. Now, it really depends on your jurisdiction and it depends on your judge. So I can only speak about, the New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania area where I'm more familiar. If you're in Nebraska, South Carolina, Florida, or Phoenix or Arizona, for example, it really does vary. But one thing's for sure, it's high. Now, what if you already filed for U visa or you want to file one because you think you qualify? U visa is taking over 4 years to approve a petition nowadays. So you could have filed one and then be charged with a crime afterwards. Now, U visa has a built-in waiver. And immigration is going to look at the totality of the circumstances. What's the crime that you were a victim of versus what's the crime that you are accused of and or were convicted of? And in the totality, do you deserve this benefit? In other words, are you a good moral person? Remember I said every single petition has that requirement. 2 or more, you have a problem. 1 DUI, you can likely defend it. But 2 or more, you're going to have a really hard time, and you really have some exceptional circumstances in order to, in this climate, get approved. Now, what if you're charged with a DUI? What can an attorney do for you? Look, a good attorney can help you determine what your defenses are. Not every case is defensible. What I can tell you, if you hire our firm, if there is a defense, we'll find it. 71% of DUIs in New Jersey result in convictions. So if you don't have an attorney, that number goes way up. Now, if you have a good criminal defense attorney, your chances go up too. But it's fact specific. Look, if your attorney does not know to look for a possible defense strategy, they're not going to find it. So you need to have somebody with the knowledge, experience, and training in order to help you in those. Now, even though you may be an immigrant, you're still entitled to a public defender if you can't afford a good criminal defense attorney. But your chances don't really improve much with a public defender. 71% get convicted. Public defenders don't work that hard. Well, let me phrase it. So I have nothing against public defenders. Some of them are great attorneys. Problem is, they get paid the same thing whether they get 1 case or 10 cases, or 30 cases, or 40 cases. And they can't give every case the same time and attention that a private attorney can, or that a good private attorney can, because not every private attorney gives you the time and attention either. So you got to do your homework. Most important, if you're not a U.S. citizen, you really need a good criminal defense attorney that is also familiar with immigration consequences. You don't need an attorney to plead guilty. You can do that on your own. You only need an attorney to fight for your rights to stay in the U.S. So if you have any questions, give us a call. Subscribe to our channel. We're here for you. Thank you very much. I'm Andres Mejer. Until next time.